Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars and Fire, and this is our weekly healing messages, or the weekly reading, for July 18th through the 25th. Now, I always go in and I go over a little bit of astrology, but I actually have a lot of astrology to go over this week. And I also go through if Spirit's given me any information, as well as the runes. Now, you're going to see me kind of double check the runes, because the more I get it right this week, the more the runes change. And that's just because they're making sure I'm getting it right, which technically means there's less runes. So that's a good thing. But before I go into the astrology or the runes, I gotta talk to you a little bit about what Spirit was guiding me directly to. Now, you may want to ask yourself, as this week goes on, a few questions. It may help you, because I'm being given a lot of feeling restricted. Feeling like what you want and what you are trying or wishing to have, but what you're getting are different. Like they're completely different things. Like you can't have what you want. Like as much as you're trying, it's just not working. And I'm being told in some of these areas that maybe because you're finding you may be at a standstill, because you may be a little inflexible. You may have doubt over your physical path in general, and that may be causing you not to take the proper action that you should, because you're doubting it. Or maybe you're pushing too hard, and therefore you're not really going at the right pace. And I'm also feeling some fearfulness or powerlessness. And you're never powerless. You're never powerless. Now, you may be in a position where you're learning a lesson, but you're never powerless. It's up to you to learn that lesson and be able to change your life. Spirit is telling me also that at least this week, and it may be going in a little bit further, like possibly over the next few weeks, but I'm really feeling it for this week at least. We're kind of going through a situation of where our masculine energy and our feminine energy are kind of like turning and looking at each other. They're communicating. Now, they may be communicating well at moments, and they may not at others. They may be butting heads a little bit. And this is a learning curve, because I'm being told this is being caused in us all at this time, especially if you're noticing it, and that will help you grow, because that masculine and that feminine energy are kind of butting heads and communicating because they're trying to come into a balance, into a harmony. They're reshaping. What Spirit is giving me is, you know how like if you were recording your voice, how it makes all that frequency, so to speak. I'm being told it's kind of like a redesigning in that frequency. Not necessarily lifting up your vibration or not, but kind of like it's being reshaped. And it has to do with that ability of that communication with that feminine and that masculine energy. They're coming to communicate better so that you can have a healthier life. But it's up to you to be able to see and come together with that and work it in your life, basically. The reason for this that I'm being told from Spirit is because it's to help bring you into harmony with yourself as well as the world around you. But by doing this and working with this masculine and feminine energy as they're turning in and looking at each other, what's really going on is we're kind of viewing our own personal karmic obstacles. We're kind of viewing our own karma. We're overcoming our own karma. And it's becoming like a rebirth through our own survival in a transformation of our new voice, our new frequency of ourselves. And that is moving up in a vibration, but it may be in a different vibration from what you're used to, is what I'm being told. It's about endurance. It's about strength. It's about fortitude and perseverance of yourself as well as what it is you deserve. What it is you deserve and what you will have in your life, because you will have no less. It's standing up for yourself. It's teaching us the roles of duality. And my shamanic guys are telling me, if you're not understanding that, you may want to look into the totem medicine of the caribou, because that's where I'm being directed, is the caribou, for that understanding of that within your own personal growth. Now, for the astrology for this week, we start off the week coming into Capricorn. But there's a full moon. There's a full moon on Tuesday. And that full moon is Capricorn with a void, of course, into Aquarius. Because I believe it's taking place at around 6:40 at night, if I'm right. If I'm positive, I could be wrong at the time being. But I know it's Capricorn moving into Aquarius, and it is that void, of course, that same day. So you're going to feel a little bit of that Capricorn energy and the Aquarius energy, which can really feel, kind of in two different directions. But that's also that feminine and that masculine energy butting heads, kind of working together, but butting heads so that we can see where to balance. Basically, Capricorn is the beginning of the week, and like I said, full moon is on Tuesday when we go into Aquarius, that void, of course. But full moons are all about pointing out and seeing the changes that need to be made, and that's why this is a perfect timing for this, as long as you're working your stuff and you're being honest with you. Otherwise, this might be a little bit of a difficult time. Capricorn is all about being organized, being practical, all about methodical, dutiful, cautious. It can be pessimistic too. We really look to our future when we're dealing with Capricorn. Our future becomes really important. We are all about our business, our family business, our responsibilities. We take change. We take charge. We establish rules. We set those rules and those goal lines. Guidelines. I'm going to learn to talk one day. But we do all of this while we're in that Capricorn energy. And that's the very first beginning of the week. As we're coming from Leo into Capricorn, I believe. No. But anyway, we're going into Capricorn, I think it is on Sunday. And then we hang out there until Tuesday, where we start to move into Aquarius. And Aquarius, though, is rebellious. It goes to extremes, abrupt action, breaking out of our ruts, trying new things, showing our uniqueness. We shine there. We want to be seen for how unique we are as individuals. It's all about our personal freedom. It's our individual freedom. And like I said, we're having that full moon right as we're in that void, of course. So we're going to be jumping a little back and forth in this at that time. So that might be a little dramatic, because you may be going from organized and practical to rebellious at the same time. Kind of going back and forth. I want out of my ruts, but I got to be responsible. You see what I'm saying? But yet that full moon energy is going to bring it to a whole new height, because full moon lifts things to a whole new height anyway, but it also brings about seeing the changes that we need. And remember, Spirit is telling us right off the bat that our masculine and our feminine energies are kind of turning around and looking inward at each other, so we can go, well, you need to change, or I need to work with you in this area. It's bringing that into a balance that may be a little difficult, because you're dealing with your own personal karmic obstacles. So that full moon energy may be very heightened, and you may be kind of really going back and forth. But then as we come into the end of the week and into the weekend, we move into Pisces. And Pisces is ruled by the planet Neptune. Neptune is the ruler of our altered state of our reality. So we really are looking and craving for what it is that induces our trance-like state, our way of escape. our way of escape in some sort, trance-like state. So sleep, meditation, prayer. But it can also lead you in the negative ways into a partying way of alcohol and drugs if you're hiding from it and escaping in that form. So it may not be the best time for that extra partying right now. And the reason for that is because when we're in that trance-like state, when we're in that escape, when we're dealing with Neptune planet, which is also Pisces, we become susceptible for emotional assault. We become susceptible for emotional assault. And this is because we become impressionable. And we are at our most spiritual. We are communicative. We like to communicate. We're intuitive and we're sensitive. But we can also be, like I said, impressionable. So it can be a great time, but you want to make sure you don't just kind of run off into la la land there unrealistically at the same time, is what I'm trying to say. So that's really the most important parts of the week as we go through. However, on the 22nd, the sun moves into Leo. The sun moves into Leo, and Leo is a compassionate, loving sign. It is compassionate, it is loving, but it also has a lot of ego and a lot of pride. So it can quickly turn into a melodrama. And our sun is, what is it about us that shines? So we're taking that and we're putting it in that communicative area. And not communicative, that compassionate area, that loving area, that sensitive area for all of that. But it can also quickly jump right over into pride and ego. So you want to watch your shine, and exactly, just don't let your pride and ego kind of go overboard, because we're in Leo, the sun is right now. But also, for a temporary little bit of time, Mercury and Venus are also in Leo. So we have everything that is great about us that shines. Positive or negative. Everything that is great about us that shines is in Leo. Very compassionate, very loving, but can also become very ego-driven and full of pride very easily. Then we have Mercury there, which is our communicator. How do we communicate? Our ways of talking, our body language, everything that happens to do with our communication, our voice, our way of speaking, everything that communicates us to the outside world, that is Mercury. And Mercury is in Leo, very compassionate, very loving, easy to jump into pride and ego at this time. Same with Venus. Venus is everything that you love. So everything that you love, and it tells us how to go about getting it. It has that compassion. It has that sexual energy, basically, the Leo does. It brings all of that into it, but we can also jump into pride and ego. So we want to just verify that we're balanced. We're creating harmony within ourselves. That, the sun also is going into Leo on the 22nd. And for me, 22 is my number that I'm constantly being given, and it was highlighted when I saw that it happened on this day. So I'm being told, and everything, your Mercury, everything, your Venus, everything that is your sun, while you're in Leo, keep that harmonious, balanced stand in all areas of your life. Don't go overboard with your pride and your ego. Keep it in a harmonious, balanced stand. By all means, shine on. By all means, let that compassion come out. By all means, let that love and that courage come out from Leo. Just watch your ego and your pridefulness, that you don't take it in a way that may actually be something you have to be accountable for. We also have your Uranus is going retrograde. But that's not going retrograde until next week. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because Uranus, when it goes retrograde, we have a week and a half, more or less, if you're watching it on Monday. Uranus goes retrograde. When we go retrograde, for that little bit before, we're kind of in its shadow area. We pick up some of its negativities. And Uranus basically is your department of your independence and how your independence is communicated. Again, this sends us right back to looking at our masculine and our feminine energies. Are they working together in harmony, or are they just completely butting heads? And this, like I said, is a healing process that we're going through. It's a reshaping process, like a relabeling of our vibration, of our frequency, as we work through it, basically, which will lift us up as long as we're doing our job and we're working on ourselves, basically. So that's why I'm telling you it, because we're still in the shadow of Uranus's retrograde at this time. Now, with all of that said, I said we had a lot of astrology. This week when I did the runes, I have 5 sets of runes that I work with. And they really weren't talking too much. And that's because every time I catch the book, I actually pick up my book. My book tends to communicate. But the only rune out of all 5 sets that was coming forward and saying, I said me, because I'm going to be speaking from the book. But this one came out directly from the runes itself. And when it's, the difference between that is the book is more coming from spirit directly than the runes. Because I'm being pointed to specific parts when I look through the book, versus I just pick up the symbol of that rune. But the book isn't necessarily saying this one as much, but this one, out of all the runes that I have, is the one that's saying, I'm telling you to come out. And then I'm going to go through what the book has to say. That was coming in truth and honesty. It was Iwaz. It is safety, strength, reliability, dependability, trustworthiness. Points to the issues of discipline, transforming change, and that need for that total commitment. May indicate a great loss, a deep discontent, describes situations of denial, deprivation, or even hardship. Can show presence of someone working with their own personal magical power or their own shamanic training. It's regenerations of cycles, life and death. Death of a situation or a part of your life being that rite of passage. It's endurance. It is sacrifice. It is undertaking the rites of that transformation. It is protective. Iwaz is protective in general. It is the hidden force of the situation. Release of latent powers. Essential polarities. The principle of light and dark. Resilience to the greater cycle or cycles of life. Power companion of walking the path. The only choice. The transcendent consciousness. It's all about that moving forward and having that strength to do so and leave your dead behind. Basically. And it's that transformation in general. And that's exactly what I've been talking about the whole time. But now I have to double check, because like I said, every time I touch the book today, it seemed to change a little bit more by the more information that I was collecting. Give me just a second. I'm double checking the book as to which ones they want me to speak. Okay, they're starting off telling me with, right now, alges. Normally I pull my runes out, but when the book speaks, I just go with what the book says, because the book is always more correct than the runes. It is alges. Alges is all about protection. It is the twins. It is air. It focuses on the world of spirit in general, or your spirit. And that's pretty much where I expect a lot of this to be going to. I'm being told right now, though, it's twins and it is in the air. It can point to the strong psychic defense or the need for them. The presence of guiding energies, protection, protective beings of spirit that might be with you, such as your angels. It is like that bridge to the unseen world. Principle of divine connection, expansion of consciousness, the self as the channel, your higher energies, connection of your own soul self, crossing that rainbow bridge, guidance and protection, protecting spirit essences into, projecting your spirit essence into the external environment. Hear me. Projecting your spiritual essence into the external environment. This is letting the true you out, projecting it for others to see, not being hidden. But you're still working on you, so we're not always going to be projecting the best things, and be aware of that. Awakening to our higher selves, our higher being, that rite of passage. It is that warrior becoming the shaman. It is moving from our warrior personality into that more peaceful personality. I am also being shown Hagulaz, which looks like an H, but Hagulaz is telling me directly it is the cosmic sheet. It is the cosmic seed. It is reshaping of the present according to the highest ideals. Hidden issues of the past that must be worked with and dealt with is what I'm being told there. Then I'm being directed to Nathis, which looks like a T, sideways. Nathis is determination, endurance, survival. Again, it is karmic obstacles, but it is changing stress into strength is where I'm being pulled to. Changing stress into strength according to the need of the positive self-reliance. Positive action and need to deal with of circumstances. Ruin of that karmic obstacle of karma itself. Every challenge is just a hidden measure of one's hidden strengths. Now on to Isa. They had a lot to say, but they're narrowing it down to just specific parts now. Isa looks like an eye. Isa is the ice. It is your ego, and it is water. It is the necessary stasis, is what I'm being told. Experience of stillness, retreat, but do not separate, is what they say. Reducing one's impact on the immediate environment. Like I said, they're saying it is retreat, but do not separate. Movement of your state of wonderment. It is the movement through your state of wonderment. Crossing that ice bridge, that stoppage, and coming into your consciousness shifts. Into a consciousness shift from one area to another. It is control of your self-mastery. Movement in time. Elevated consciousness. Conscious control over one's own mind. Nope. Sorry. I'm just being told it is your elevated consciousness, conscious control over your own mind. It is your matter and your antimatter with your polarities coming together. It's basically stop and mastery of yourself is what we're getting a lot of. And then I'm getting Jera. And Jera reminds us that everything has its timing. Natural cycles, waiting for the results. It is putting energy into the external of things. It is relationships and environments. It is the cycle and the seasons of life, those changing seasons. It is the natural process. It is your own personal harvest. Patience with yourself, timing with yourself, and then rewards with your own self will be paid back, is what they are saying. Natural flow from beginning to end. So it's all about us this week. It's all about our personal growth, our changing, our masculine and our feminine energy coming together butting heads, learning from each other, so that we can have a higher growth, a higher vibration, and a new, better frequency. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Hugs and kisses in the wind. Bye, everybody.